You're watching a Highwire Media podcast.
Hello, welcome back to the True Crime Never Sleeps show. As always, I'm your host, Larry Lease. And we are back. That's right. Murder Monday. All our episodes are back. Of course, apologies for being gone for so long. I stabbed my my tongue with a chip, and it kind of couldn't allow me to record anything. But today we're back with Murder Monday, and we're diving into the Playboy murder. And with that, let's dive into today's story. Imagine this. You're a teenager, working your regular after-school job, when out of the blue, someone walks in and tells you they can change your life in unimaginable ways. They say you're special, different, and they have the power to pluck you from obscurity and make you the biggest star in the world. It's an offer that seems impossible to turn down. In 1978, 18-year-old Dorothy Stratten was faced with that very offer. She was working at a Dairy Queen in Vancouver, Canada, when she met a man named Paul Snider. He didn't just promise to make her a star, he love-bombed her, manipulated her, and ultimately used her success as a stepping stone for his own ambitions. And the second Dorothy began to slip from his control, he ensured she would never escape. Dorothy was born on February 28, 1960, in Vancouver to Dutch immigrant parents Simon and Nellie Stratten. Her father left the family when she was 4, leaving Dorothy's mother to raise her and her 2 siblings on a cafeteria worker's salary. Dorothy got a job scooping ice cream at 14 to help her mom with bills. She was shy, quiet, and deeply insecure. She thought she was playing with big hands. At 18, she'd only had one boyfriend and had never left Vancouver. That changed when 27-year-old Paul Snider walked into her Dairy Queen and saw her behind the counter. He was captivated by her beauty and told her so immediately. Dorothy was flattered by the attention from this older, confident man. She didn't know his past, how he dropped out of school in 7th grade, got into bodybuilding to compensate for his insecurities, and developed a taste for flashy things, mink coats, gold jewelry, and luxury cars. But behind the swagger, Paul was struggling. Promoting car and motorcycle shows wasn't cutting it, so he turned to recruiting women for sex work and got known around Vancouver as the Jewish pimp. His spending caught up with him, and when he couldn't pay a drug gang back, they hung him off a hotel balcony by his ankles. Paul fled to Los Angeles and tried to make it big, dabbling in directing and producing, but when close calls with the law scared him, he returned to Vancouver in 1977, just in time to meet Dorothy. He told her she had something special, convinced her she could be a model, and began grooming her almost immediately. He bought her clothes, jewelry, took her to dinner, even escorted her to high school prom. Dorothy, flattered and naive, believed he truly cared, but everything Paul did was calculated. He arranged a photo shoot with a local photographer, under the pretense it was just to take pictures of the two of them. Instead, Paul and the photographer pressured Dorothy into posing nude so they could submit the photos to Playboy's Great Playmate Hunt contest. Dorothy was hesitant. She cried. She was worried what her mother would think. But Paul pleaded. She relented to make him happy. The photos were submitted. Paul promised to pay the photographer the $1,000 finder's fee if Playboy accepted them, but never did. In August 1978, Dorothy got the call. Playboy wanted her to fly to Los Angeles for a test shoot. It was her first time on a plane. She was picked up in a limousine and brought to the Playboy mansion, where editor Marilyn Grabowski saw instantly that Dorothy had a rare kind of beauty, both naive and natural. Though Dorothy didn't win the contest, Hugh Hefner personally chose her to be Playmate of the Month for August 1979. She was offered a job as a Playboy bunny at the LA club and moved there alone. Playboy arranged her housing, skincare, fitness routines, even her immigration paperwork. Her name was changed to Dorothy Stratten, and she quickly began gaining popularity. The more time she spent in front of the camera, the more people noticed her. Soon she was being scouted for TV and film roles and connected with a talent agent named David Wilder. As Dorothy's star rose, Paul joined her in LA, trying to stay relevant in her life. But their relationship quickly became strained. Dorothy seemed uneasy during shoots and eventually requested Valium. Paul was also trying to start his own ventures, wet t-shirt contests, males dancer shows, and even tried launching a club concept that would become known as Chippendales. Though he helped start it, his partners soon pushed him out. In 1979, Paul proposed. Dorothy's friends warned her not to go through with it. Even Hugh Hefner disapproved. But Dorothy, still feeling indebted to Paul, agreed. They married in Las Vegas on June 1st, 1979. Their relationship remained rocky. Dorothy was uncomfortable with Paul's lavish spending, his jealousy, and his behavior at Playboy parties. Eventually, Hefner banned Paul from the mansion altogether. He was known as creepy, accused of harassing playmates, and being caught with other women. Dorothy started pulling away. By January 1980, she'd caught the attention of director Peter Bogdanovich, who offered her a role in the film They All Laughed. She was cast opposite Audrey Hepburn and John Ritter. While filming in New York, Dorothy finally separated herself from Paul. She moved out of their shared space into Peter's suite at the Plaza Hotel. Paul sensed the distance and became desperate. Dorothy returned to LA briefly to accept her Playmate of the Year award and a $25,000 check, along with a Jaguar, diamond jewelry, a fur coat, and more. Paul clung to her during the event, but it was clear Dorothy was no longer interested. That summer, she wrote to Paul asking for a formal separation, both romantic and financial. She closed their joint account and arranged a monthly allowance through her business manager. Paul responded by pawning off Dorothy's gifts. He even tried grooming a 17-year-old girl named Patty Lorman to replace her. Then he attempted to monetize old photos of Dorothy, only to be denied by her personally. With nothing left to gain, Paul spiraled. On August 8, 1980, Dorothy met with Paul to discuss a financial settlement. She told him she was in love with Peter and wanted to move on. She collected her things from their old home and said goodbye. But Paul wasn't done. He borrowed a gun and waited outside Peter's home, hoping to catch them. When that failed, he returned the gun. Then he bought a shotgun from a stranger in the San Fernando Valley. He told people Dorothy was coming over to discuss investments. She didn't believe he was dangerous. On the morning of August 14th, Dorothy arrived at Paul's home while everyone else had been sent away. A private investigator called Paul around 12:30 p.m., and Paul answered calmly. But hours passed. No one saw anyone leave. By 5 p.m., Patty returned and saw Dorothy's purse on the stairs. She assumed they were still talking. Later that night, the homeowner, Dr. Kushner, came home and noticed the bedroom door was shut. Still, he didn't intervene. It wasn't until nearly midnight that anyone checked. Dr. Kushner opened the door and found a nightmare. Blood everywhere. Both Paul and Dorothy were dead. He had shot Dorothy in the face, destroying it completely, then sexually assaulted her either before or after. He then shot himself in the temple. Dorothy was just 20 years old. Hugh Hefner was devastated. He called Peter, who was in shock. Playboy had already printed the October issue featuring Dorothy's photos, but pulled her from future calendars. The press blamed Playboy's lifestyle, but those who knew Dorothy knew the truth. Playboy may have been her escape from Paul. Dorothy was cremated and buried at Westwood Village Memorial Park beside Marilyn Monroe, the icon she was once tapped to portray. Peter wrote a book about her, The Killing of a Unicorn, and supported her family financially. In a strange twist, he later married Dorothy's younger sister Louise in 1988 when she turned 20, the same age Dorothy was when she died. Peter never let go of Dorothy's final film. Though the studio shelved it, he spent all his money to release it himself. It bankrupted him. But he believed the world needed to see her work. Dorothy was a rising star, a unicorn. Her only flaw? She trusted too much. Peter later said, Dorothy looked at the world with love and believed that all people were good deep down. She was mistaken, but is among the most generous and noble heirs we can make. And that is the story of Dorothy Stratten. So sad. It's so depressing. It makes me so mad that he literally couldn't take that his life wasn't going well, so he killed Dorothy. And I guess it goes back to, such an egotistical douchebag. He just couldn't take it, and he killed her. And that's insane to me. So, all right, you guys, that is our Murder Monday for this week. You can join us next week for another episode of Murder Monday. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on this case. And don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you like our video. And if you want to support the channel, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/TCNS. This episode is sponsored by NordVPN, the fastest, most reliable way to stay safe online. Let's be honest, the internet isn't exactly a safe neighborhood anymore. Between hackers, data leaks, and companies tracking everything you do online, protecting yourself is no longer an option. That's why I use NordVPN. NordVPN keeps your data encrypted and your identity private with next generation security. So whether you're on public Wi-Fi, traveling, or working from home, your information stays yours. Think of it as your own digital security guard, always on duty. And with over 6,000 servers in 60 plus countries, you can connect anywhere in the world with a single click. Want to stream shows from another country or access websites that are blocked in your region? Easy. NordVPN makes it happen instantly. I use it personally when I'm researching true crime cases and need to access archived or international sources. Keeps my work secure and my connection private. So here's the deal. Use the link in the description today, and at checkout, get a huge discount on a 2-year plan plus 3 extra months free. That's 77% off a 2-year plan with 3 extra free months. It's an incredible offer for complete digital protection. Don't wait until your data ends up in the wrong hands. Stay safe, stay private, and stay secure with NordVPN, because your digital life deserves protection. Now, let's get back to our episode. With that, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more of our content, just click the video right here for more Murder Monday episodes. Or over here, and you can catch our series on the Idaho murders. And we'll see you next time.